Well, we want to welcome everybody this evening. I want to thank you for joining us in our May 19th Local Development Council meeting. Our agenda is not very full tonight. We have some adjustments to make to talk about, particularly about the grant cycle, but Kimberly is not on yet, so we will skip that if we have to. If you had an opportunity to go online to take a look at the minutes for our last meeting, if there are no changes to the minutes, what we would like to do is to get a recommendation to accept the minutes as they are written online. If you remember, we lost Shaka, and Ryan kind of made a decision until we get this new person in place. I thought we would have her in place by now, but we have found someone. We have to send out an offer letter, and hopefully they will accept that, and then we can move from there to get that particular person in place and kind of get back on track. We've been off track ever since we've lost Shaka. Things have been kind of out of whack. So what we're trying to do is just to kind of ad lib until we can get things straight with that. So um, she has been interviewed, and a offer letter is being sent out for that particular person. Hopefully they will accept that, and we can kind of go from there. Um, um, uh, Senator Patterson, do we have any update on the vote for the change in whole harmless?
No, the governor signed off on about 200 bills yesterday, so he got another 800 to go. And he got about a week and a half to go. If he doesn't sign it by that point, they would automatically become law. So
Okay.
it's sort of still in the whole category.
Okay. All right. Delegate Valderrama, we talked about you last month and all of your accomplishments that you listed. I'm fortunate enough to be on your email, and we just delighted in all three of you in the work that you're doing. Um,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
and we just wanted to acknowledge that you weren't here last month, but I just wanted to acknowledge that we talked about you a whole lot last week. I mean,
And just
last
to,
month.
I myself was not on there, but I had a representative
Yeah,
on my
yeah.
behalf. Thank you,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Chairman.
So we're going to move forward. We will, if no one has any changes to the minutes of our last month's meeting, I'd like to get a motion to accept the minutes as they were stated on last month, and of course a vote if you have no changes.
I'll make the motion.
Robinson, I just wanted to clarify. So for now, there really isn't anything to vote for because what we're posting in lieu of the minutes is the
Okay.
recording of the actual meeting.
Okay.
So we couldn't make a change if we wanted to unless we went back and added some CGI to a few of the squares in the Zoom video.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure that was clarified that what we're doing is posting the actual recording of the full meeting in lieu of the minutes.
Okay, so we don't need to vote on that at all, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay, fine. Well, we can keep on moving. Kimberly's not here. We had the grant cycle. I'll just explain that. Well, let me let Vice Chair do that because she was on the selection committee.
Good evening, everyone. We met as a group, I guess a couple of weeks ago to review all the grants. And what we saw is we had a lot of repeats. A lot of the grants that we received were actually grants that were workforce services or repeats of grants that we've already seen. We were able to award the complete $500,000 that we had to be able to award to the grantees. What the other thing that we saw, and I think that's part of why we got a repeat, is that we need to market ourselves, that we need to put ourselves out there so that people know that these grants are available and that we will get more applicants in a diverse group of applicants. So we talked about some ideas that we had in mind to move forward with getting that message out to the community. But it was a very successful meeting. It was an opportunity for us to bond as a LVC. And that's all that I have to present for that.
Okay, if you remember last month, we had 20, I believe it was 24 people to submit applications. Only 14 made it through the process. Others were
12.
kicked out as a result of, what'd you say, 12?
12. Mhm.
12. Others were kicked out as a result of incomplete applications. We had a great workshop. I don't know what happened outside of the workshop. I don't understand why people were having such a challenge with the application process. We probably need to take a look at that to find out what's going on. Of course, last year, I believe it was uh, Delegate Turner asked the question last month about what we did last year in terms of allowing people a second opportunity. Of course, we didn't have the time to be able to do that this time, so we had to move forward with the 12 that we had. And we did get through the process. I don't know where, has Kimberly sent everything to Vice Chair? Has she sent things back to OMB yet?
It is my understanding she has. We have all turned in our scoring, and she was to forward it on.
Okay. We also met yesterday to get going, not only the grants selection committee, but we also had the public relations committee that's made up of Vice Chair Carrie Mack and Ms. McElwain. We also wanted to develop a community needs and assessment committee. They were not able to make the meeting on last night, but that's the last committee that we will develop. We also have the Oversight Committee that's chaired or headed by Dr. Lattimore. We've had some success in taking a look at some of these grants. We've also requested for repurposing, and in that we discovered a couple of people that we were kind of suspect of, and as a result of that, we recommended that they be looked at by what is that, Kanika? Audit investigations. Yeah, audit and investigation. So we've turned 2 over to audit and investigations. We have several more between myself and Dr. Lattimore and her team to take a look at with respect to repurposing. We haven't looked at all of those yet. And we'll take a look at those. If we see anything that we think is suspect, we'll take a look at those. And what we did is approved, there were 3 who asked for repurposing, and we approved that in our meeting on last month. So basically, that's it that we have. We will get through the remaining portion of the repurposes that we do have probably over the next couple of weeks and make a decision on those. We'll have to come back to, of course, the council for a vote and approval on those, but that's pretty much where we are at this particular point. Don't have, sorry.
Question when you get a break, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Did I understand you to say that the applications have already been developed and evaluated and forwarded to the budget office at this point?
Yes.
So when do we vote as a committee on the approval of those grants?
Oh, I didn't know we had did we do that last year, Ryan?
Yeah.
We did?
Yes.
Well, Kanika, you're going to have to, I guess you have to send those back before you make any decision. Dr. Patterson has just derailed the whole bus.
No.
We're
I'm
gonna,
totally okay, but.
no. That's important. That's important.
Yeah.
I don't remember that portion of the process last year, but what we can do, of course, Kimberly is not on. The vice chair is here. What we can do is we'll probably have to have an emergency meeting because the time frame on this, the turnaround on this is kind of tight. Ryan, can you? I'm sorry, not Ryan, but Kanika, can you give us a little information? Excuse me, on the time frame.
Sure. Let me pull that up. Just take me a minute to click around.
Okay.
So today's the 19th. We weren't expecting full decisions from the LDC until the 16th, so you do have time. The
Okay,
16th of June.
okay. And our next meeting is the 16th of June.
Right.
So can we will we be able to make a decision on those approvals by the council and still get them to you on time?
Yes, I think if you guys make a decision on the 16th, that should give us enough time. I think we'll be
Okay.
on schedule.
All right. Well, that'll be fine. So, Senator Patterson, we're back on track then. I thank you for pointing that out, sir. I'm moving a little fast here, so please forgive me for that. But thank you for pointing that out. I don't have any new business. We're going to have Kimberly to explain, of course. The Vice Chair has already done that. I don't have any new business except to say that we will be developing our final Community Needs Assessment Committee that will be made up of Mr. Harris and Dr. Laurie. So we will be talking to them offline to get that established and going. And what we're looking for is the type of needs that I think we want to see in the community. What's been happening is these nonprofits are coming in telling us what they want to do versus us telling them what we want to see. So I think the Community Needs Committee, in establishing those kind of goals as to what we want to see in the community, this will be one of the things that we're looking at for next year. So it'll give us time to research and do the things that we need to do in order to come up with what we want to see. We're looking at changing the website and doing some things to the website to include the accomplishments that we've already had, and to do the big check kind of things, and in these presentations, and to kind of outline the achievements of the Local Development Council since its inception. So we're looking to make changes to the site and those kind of things.
Pastor, you're muted.
I think his sound went out. His
Yeah.
internet's having trouble.
Can't hear you.
Pastor Robinson.
You might have to log out and log back in.
Still can't hear you, sir.
What's going on?
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, we got
Here you know.
Okay, I don't know what was happening. I wasn't muted, so I did all that talking for nothing, huh? I think I was trying to say I got to start all over again. Okay, well, can you hear me now? Yes, ma'am.
If you'd like, I did find the grants that we recommended with the brief synopsis on each of them. The 16 grants, I could go through them if you like, or we could get this emailed out to everyone.
Well, I think it'd probably be wise for us to get it out to everybody to have a chance to take a look at it, rather than trying to make a rush decision tonight, and to be able to answer any questions that anybody has. So I think it would probably be wise for us to delay until the 16th, and everybody can have an opportunity to see what you guys have suggested and those kind of things. And what I was saying, you can still hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, what I was saying is we've developed 4 committees. We developed the grant selection committee. We've developed the oversight committee. We've developed a public relations campaign committee. And we've also developed a community needs assessment committee. One of the problems that we see happening is that we have a lot of these grants coming in telling us what they want to do in the neighborhood. I think the needs assessment committee will be able to give us an idea of what we want to see, and the types of services that we're looking for in the community, so that we can kind of target things that we need rather than folks coming in looking for money and telling us what they want to do. So these 4 committees are what we'll be looking at. Mr. Harris and Dr. Oh man, I'm always messing up her name, but Dr. Is it Mac? No, it's not Carrie. It's Dr. Paylor. I'm sorry. So the 2 of them will be heading the Community Needs Assessment Committee. It'll give them time to come up with some of the needs that we have or what we're looking for in the community in that 3-mile radius, so that we can kind of dictate, I think, what we want to see happening as far as grants are concerned and the types of
Sound
needs
went
that
out
we have.
again.
I don't know what's going on.
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. I
Okay.
can.
Still here.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we can continue to kind of dictate what the needs that we want to see in the community. I think that's the best way to do that. Anybody got any comments on that?
Mr. Chairman, can you give me those committees again, the 4?
Yes, ma'am. We have the Grants Oversight Committee.
Okay, grants,
Yes,
oversight.
ma'am.
Go
Public
ahead.
Relations,
I'm right.
Public Relations Committee.
Public relations.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. The Oversight Committee
Oversight. Okay.
and Community Needs
Okay.
Assessment. Community Needs Assessment Committee. So those are the four committees that we've established. In the Oversight Committee, we've already discovered what we believe is possibly, I'm not saying discovered, we believe what possibly may be some misuse of the funds. And as a result of that, we have recommended them to the Office of Audits and Investigation. And then we've got the repurposing of several other that Dr. Lattimore will be taking a look at, so that we can get started with those and do the repurposing that we need to get done. So that's all that I have. We will open up, if not unless anybody has any other questions, we'll open up for public comment.
But Chairman, I just have one quick question. I'm pretty sure
Yes,
it might be in the report once it's submitted, but for those applicants who submitted and ran into issues, or there were errors or whatever, it made the application incomplete. Will we be able to find out what was those things that were incomplete, and if we are able to maybe train or have that workshop, have that added to the workshop next to go around? Like, is that a lessons learned to be added into the workshop?
Well, I'll let Kanika answer that, but this is not the first time we've had this problem. I mean, the workshop is pretty thorough. For instance, we had one lady to say, she sent me a letter saying that she had the full package, and somehow her one piece of information got stuck together as she sent out or faxed. So I mean, we can't. The time frame for this one didn't allow for us to go back to deal with that. So there are all kinds of issues. But Kanika, is it possible for you to put together Ryan? Is that you or Kanika?
I'm here.
Is it possible to put together a list of why, as Mr. Harris is asking, why people were rejected?
Sure, we can share the tracker, and that will list each of the applicants and why they were deemed incomplete. I will say, for the most part, I mean, I do think that the training could have included, which we just weren't able to do because the Zoom, it wasn't allowing for the share screen so that we could move between screens. But maybe like showing us actually filling out the documents, where some applicants would send in a document, but it wasn't filled in. For the most part, I think that's self-explanatory. I don't know how, if we communicate that we need this document and you send it, but you send it blank, I think I don't know what to say about that. But I think there are some things that we could kind of walk through more slowly as we fill in. And then it's just communicating to folks that, like, you need to double and triple check your final submission email before you press send. Because there was a lot of like, oh, I thought I had attached it, but I didn't. And I think that's it's unfortunate, but one thing I do think is good is, I think that if we kind of get more stern on not allowing for the second submissions, your first submissions will be higher quality if they know that they won't get a second chance. I think there's a good chance of that.
Okay, does that help you at all, Mr. Harris?
Yes, that's good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thanks a lot. We will open up. Yes.
Hi, Pastor Robinson. I just want to make a comment about the Grants Committee. I thought that that process as a new member was an excellent process. I enjoyed working with the members. I will say that we were pretty much kind of hard on, you know, the criteria. We really talked through everything. There were some excellent write-ups. Specifically, there were one Pacific write-up, which I didn't even know existed in Prince George's County, but it was like a cultural arts write-up for a grant. We did also look at the repurposing when they asked for additional funds. If they asked to repurpose that money this year and, you know, roll it over to next year, but they were applying for a grant, we basically wanted to see what they were doing with the repurposing of the money, because due to COVID, before, you know, they get more money. And one thing that we, as a committee, that we decided is whoever the 12 selectees were, is that myself and I think it's Keisha, we were going to split those 12 up and perform oversight for 6 grantees, and then Takesha would do the other 6. So it was a great process. We had a lot of dialogue. I think I scored really hard on a lot of them because it was my first time doing it and my expectations were kind of a little high. But for the most part, most of the applications were well written. It was about a couple of them. If you look through them, if you get them, they pretty much had somewhat of the same language as other applications. So I kind of matched them up. But all in all, it was a great experience. And I want to thank you guys for allowing me to do that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Also, Mr. Harris, I think you can go online. I think the application process is online. You can take a look at that. I don't think it's that tough. It's detailed. You know, and you're talking about giving somebody $50,000 and they can't fill out an application. Um, you know, it says a little something there. So, you know, it's just important that we do want to make it easy enough for people to get through the process. But at the same time, I think it's important for people to, I mean, you know, you got to fill it out. We have the workshop makes it very clear that if you miss anything, you'll get kicked out. The only problem that we had this year is we had a short turnaround time. Last year, we were able to, because so many people got kicked out, we did go back and allow folks another opportunity to address the omissions that they had. So, but as Kanika is saying, we need to be real stern on the idea of making sure that people know how to fill these applications out. And the workshop is pretty detailed. You know, we sat through the whole process. And it's a pretty detailed workshop. So it's kind of inexcusable to misinformation when you've got all of the detail that you need and still can't get it right. So, so that's the kind of attitude and mindset, and just giving somebody $50,000 and you know you can't fill out an application.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with you, Chairman, 100%. And I know for a fact everything was done with great details. My thought is just, I mean, there's always room for improvement for a lot of things. So maybe if there's something that was reoccurring on a lot of those applications, maybe we can add that to the workshop to make it better, because obviously we want to have more people apply to this next year, so we don't want to run into the same problems next year as well.
Yeah. Again, you know, I think our public relations committee upgrading the site and getting us out. We want to do Twitter. We want to do Facebook. We want to do Instagram. We just want to plaster the community that this money is available. And then again, we also want to dictate what kind of needs we want to see addressed in the community through the community needs assessment committee. So I think we'll get better as we go along here. I don't see why not, but we'll get better as we go along. Okay. All right. So we will open the floor up for public comments if we have anyone with public comments. Brian, do you see anything in the chat that I may have missed?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is you know, when I asked for an adjournment last month, Delegate Valderrama and, and Senator Patterson jumped so fast that, so look, he got up and ran.
It wasn't me. I had a representative, was
Oh,
not
I'm
me.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm Delegate Turner. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Delegate Valderrama. I'm terribly sorry, but I asked for a motion to adjourn, and they jumped so quick that it just kind of surprised everybody. But it was funny, you know. But listen, before we adjourn, Kimberly has come on. Kimberly, we've gotten through the entire process. I think Ms. Hopkins did you well. But if you have anything that you would like to say before we close out.
Well, I don't want to get in the way of closing, but thank you. And thank you, Co-Chair Mary, for holding it down. I appreciate that in my absence. And thank you to the committee who's hard at work, and thanks to me are well ahead of schedule. Sorry about that, but that's good news. But it's been a lot, and I think at the next meeting we'll be prepared, if we didn't already, to just kind of give some reflections and some thoughts about the grants that we have received and some of our observations kind of going forward.
Okay, before you came on, the issue was raised that we needed to give the committee the opportunity to approve the selections. So that will happen in our next meeting, and then we will move on from there. So the entire committee will be able to vote. We'll give explanation to why you chose those and those kind of things, and then we'll be able to move on from there.
Okay, so at the next meeting, we should be prepared to kind of give a high level
Yes.
blurb as to why we, okay.
Yes.
All right, we'll do.
All right. A
I have
motion.
a quick question. Will something come to the committee members ahead of time so that we can review prior to the meeting?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. We'll send each of the applications with why they were chosen, so that we will, if you have any questions for our next meeting, you can prepare for those, and we will be able to vote as a group.
So just so I'm clear, they're reviewing the entire application packet for all of the, or they have the
No,
option?
not the entire application packet. I think Murray, did you say you had a sheet with?
Yeah, we have summaries and.
Yeah, it's just a sum. I think just the summaries is all we're going to need.
Okay.
You can send the entire application package to Dr. Patterson, but to the rest of us, we can just go ahead and take the summary, right?
I was on that grant committee last year. I know.
Yeah. So you know what that was about, yes. Yeah. So with that, if we have a move to adjourn this evening, so moved. A second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Ah.
All right. Well, we will see you guys on the 16th of the next month, right? June
Right.
June 16th, and we will be prepared to vote on the selections that the selection committee has made. You guys have a good evening, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
Bye-bye.